biology again. We're going to use classes around pathogens, and they then go and visit a river in December. It really doesn't make sense because some of the stuff that they've learned, they might have forgotten. Also, in terms of you being there and delivering some of the content, even at the actual site of the service learning, you need to actually make sure that you are there as a facilitator so that you can then actually make those linkages. And then also the nature of student participation in terms of the curriculum development. You need to actually be aware of some of the activities that you're going to be setting out. You need to be aware if the activity that you're setting out is actually going to be connected to the theories or is going to allow the student to actually understand what the theory component is, as well as the scope of the service learning. And then the 3 phases of student development that we actually look out for when it comes to community-based service learning. For example, in the example that I showed with third-year students, the sense that they are actually able to get to interview learning, that actually gives them the exposure. The fact that they're able to write articles, and those articles that they write allows them to actually be published journalism. That then allows for capacity building. And the fact that then they're able to download study materials, and those study materials that they download, they share with learners within Makhanda. That then also gives out the social responsibility principle of a service learning course. So now to be much more practical around it. So how do we actually make sure that our curriculum is aligning with the theory and the service learning? The first question that we need to ask ourselves is, what are the techniques and what are the methods that we can use to understand the actual needs of the community? So if you've got a radio that the community shares with you as a university, maybe that's one way to go about it. We've got a couple of community partners. Those community partners could have Facebook, could have a website. That's where maybe you could also try and find out who could be your partner in the project. But maybe you might want to also go to the actual partner and try and speak to them and find out what they do. And then you can find out if there's a linkage basically between what you might want to cover in your service learning and what that community partner does. And then once you've got that, you would still need to then go to your community partner and try to see if you can work something out. So how do I match the community partner needs with the learning opportunities? And we cannot do this without actually going and speaking with the community partner. And the people that or the person that we normally lean towards, which is very wrong, by the way, but at the moment that we're still doing it, but we're trying to get into a point where each and every coordinator in our office is actually aware of who are the community partners. So we've got a community partner liaison within the community engagement office that actually allows us or allows our academics to actually be able to understand who are some of the community partners around Makhanda. So maybe that would also be something that we could look into for community engagement. If I'm not necessarily aware of some of the partners that are around our town or our city. And then once we've actually asked ourselves of how do I actually match the community needs to the learning opportunities, then we ask ourselves, what are the positive outcomes that this service learning can, what positive outcomes can this service learning experience offer to my students, right? So you look into the outcomes. So you have looked into the objectives and now you look into the outcomes of the service learning course. And then based on those outcomes of the service learning course and the definitions, how would you refine your service learning course? And also, what are the areas of concerns? And within areas of concerns, you actually look into what will be a problem that you can actually solve with your students and with your community partner. How will I worry about, or what will I worry about during the semester? And what should I and my community partner expect my students to do or to accomplish at the service learning site? So once you are actually able to answer those questions and you can actually engage with your community partner in terms of understanding these questions, and then starting up or planning your project. So today we're going to actually go into the planning process, right? We wanted to allow you to think around what are some of the courses that are in my department, and if there are courses that are in my department, you can just look at that one course that you're really interested in teaching or delivering. How would it actually benefit from a service learning component? And if you think that it would benefit from a service learning component, let's start to plan and discuss what would be the curriculum of that service learning course. Yeah? So during the day, that's what we're going to be focusing on. Yes, are there any questions? Yes, you will get the slides. Any other questions?
Were you assuming Constitution to do the same Constitution? Okay, she is one of students who have registered, but I think due to miscommunication, she was unable to hear yesterday. And she must also receive the course material.
You can sort it out at tea.
So during tea, colleagues, can we just try and understand and look into some of the courses that are within our department, some of the programs that could be in our department, and think around, if this course was actually going to be a service learning course, how would it run? Then we're going to be looking into e-learning objectives, learning outcomes, and maybe later on in the week, how would we assess that course? Yes.
That will be a little bit of a smaller challenge. We've got mixed cohorts of individuals. We've got academics, we've got students, we've got service employees, and listening to the question is more favorable to those that are in the classroom environment. Can't we have an approach that will be encompassing, that will accommodate
those that are not sure.
Yes, we know that the course aims to empower lectures. In fact, we delivered it for that so that we'll be able to inculcate service learning into the classroom processes. But because of diverse cohort of attendees, I'm not sure which approach I'm going to take so that everybody will be accommodated.
I think, remember, we're working towards that final assignment, right? So everybody's got to sort of tailor this experience to what their needs are. So if you are, for example, a lecturer, you'll start looking at how you're going to include this in your practice as a teacher, right? If you're a student, you've got a project in mind that you're wanting to think about how to plan. We've got our objectives or our expectations from yesterday, where we wanted to achieve certain things from this course. So we will work around that in terms of working individually and differentiating the experience. But I think these are key questions that can guide, with a little bit of adaptation, what you're going to be doing.
But when I got from their assignment, they are supposed to showcase what they did, which is part of teaching and learning, because they're going to create content that will teach others what they did in their project. So it's like, it's a short course of its own to say, this is how you do service learning in our program. This is how you teach others. This is how you help your community. So they have a community service short course that they are going to give today.
But we can also, when we're doing the group work or the self-reflection of that course, we will be walking around, me and Anna, just to also get a feel of what people are doing and how we can advise. Will that be okay, colleagues? Yeah. So now we're going to have some tea. The tea is right there, and then we're going to reconvene at 5:30. Is that fine? Yeah.
Can I please just ask, if you haven't handed in your assignments from yesterday, to please just send it to me. I am almost done with feedback. So I just want to finish up yesterday's assignments first.
So we can have some tea, and then we're going to have a sit and then discuss on curriculum.
it going to be a long process? But it worries me.
How much money is the sausage? They went to the email.
We can. And I hope like an internet is present to my name with the receive. All I'm